Oh, well, early Tuesday morning. Hope, hoping to get dumpster here finished tearing up the other house. Well, anyway, um, it's hot. It's 7 o'clock, 7:45 in the morning, and it's already like 84 degrees. It's very humid. Uh, I had sweat because the sun hit me while I was making an order. But anyway, it looks like that Trump is going to be meeting with Putin, and I guess they have to make plans to rig the election again in November, the same way they did before, because um, um, that hasn't been addressed by the Republicans or Congress, or and I think that's really what is fighting back hard from. Uh, because basically it's like a coup. Because he's, I don't see how Trump could get debriefed. I don't see how any of his children could get debriefed because of all the business they have in China and how China and Russia, very closely um, connected when it comes to, China does business with everybody. China does business with everybody over there. They're into manufacturing. Um, and reproducing anything and everything that they can to make money. That they, you know, when the I guess when the unions, especially the car unions in Detroit, once they got the really the money they had wanted and the pension they had wanted and the health insurance they had wanted, it seemed um, like for an all black area, the old ones, you've seen a lot of white union people there, and it's like they kept asking more and more. Oh, we want. Oh, well, we got. And everybody else was in the '70s was making roughly $3 to $4 an hour. They was already making $10 to $12 an hour. So they kept raising it. So I think, in a sense, that we always had um, Russia and China interfering with our policies in a sense to where you um, you massage the greediness, you know. So with that greediness, and plus I think they wanted to destroy Detroit. I think that they saw that here was a city that was being built by black people. It was looking gorgeous, it was beautiful. They were making money, and white people get very, very jealous, you know. And I was surprised how like big family, how jealous each one get and how dirty each one. But anyway, um, um, so you know, it's just like with the Mexicans, like oh the Mexicans are taking our jobs, oh the Mexicans are taking our jobs, or you see these ranchers and they're like oh this is our family heritage. Yeah, but you murdered and killed the natives on that land. You know what I'm saying? Now if you if no now it's bought and sold. You know what I'm saying? It would have made more sense in some of these third world countries to go ahead and treat the people a little bit better, and we wouldn't have as many wars. You could look at in a lot of places that Britain colonized and the United States hold. You could look at Puerto Rico today. Look how Trump and the Republicans are thinking, oh, well, they had a failing electric grid before, so we're just going to fix it the way it was before. You know, so basically, if part of it was failing before, if part of it was broke before, if they're not going to fix it because those people in Puerto Rico they don't deserve it because we're giving so much money to them and we're charging them all this tax and this tariff, this all this stuff, so they would only get from certain people. So they got and we gave them that third world loan out to them. Like you do third world countries, you give them that bogus type of loan that they'll never be able to pay back, like what they did to Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Really, I think after if France and any of those European places would want this, they want people to empathize and respect the fact that they have financial problems. You would think that they would just go ahead and dismiss Haiti's financial debt to them because the place is devastated. Anyway, and then you could also see what they're doing at the border, also talking about Mexicans, is how that they were just thinking about, how I could hurt these people the most, not how I could help the United States the most. Let's take their kids away from them, and that'll be a detour. Just like they say, like going to jail, like having strict, laws is a detour from other people. Well, if that was the case, after Paul, Matthew, and John was in prison, where they wrote the book that we go by today, I guess, the Bible that people go by today, King David's Bible, whatever, then then there shouldn't be no more prisons and no more jails, because you have the detour with like what Jesus went through. Paul, Matthew, John, Peter, I don't know all the names, but with the disciples, what they went through, they were all in jail, they were all in prison, and that's so um, so it's just like saying probation worked when we have proof after proof after proof that it doesn't. So you know, so you, so you, that's why I think we had a coup, because we're we have a president that's is violating our First Amendment. It really encourages the Second Amendment as long as you're Caucasian or light skinned to white. Um, they're petrified of black people having their Second Amendment, their First Amendment, freedom. We got rid of our freedom of speech back a little while ago when when you're with two adults and you're like, damn, this motherfucker. They're like, oh, you can't talk like that to me. And then next thing, here comes their little 7-year-old kid will curse you out. And they're like, well, we can't talk like that around the kids. And you know that this kid that's 7 years old, they heard it only in their house. So, we've been going along with destroying our Constitution little by little, using the church. Even if you go like with the freedom to sue happiness, so you want to stop gay marriage, even our freedom of religion, they're like, oh, everybody's a Christian. Not everybody want to be a Christian. Everybody want to believe whatever the hell they want to believe and whatever God they want to believe. And what I'm saying, and I'm not necessarily all in on this the white man God. I'm not really, what I'm saying, because I see the effect of the community and how it just doesn't work to the benefit. If anything, it's a way that sometimes narcissistic people can be pedophiles. Like you have problems with the Mormons, you have problems with the Catholic Church. They've been sued. If but they haven't stopped. Probably doing um, and so you had with the Mormons, with that one guy, and that they ended up arresting him. You have all different cults and that are under the Christian religion that are considered not cult. You have with the Christians that went down to Hades and they were sexually abusing the kids, you know, and I guess their logic is they're so young they won't give me AIDS, even though like a lot of those kids were born to AIDS, because a lot of people go on vacation that have money. They go to have, it's like Thailand. They have a real problem with child prostitution, and for a long time, a lot of white men that wanted to have 2 or 3 wives, or somebody that just has money that doesn't mind, living in a third world water and worrying about the Kylie, worried about the third world diseases that you get from the lack of refrigeration with the food and etc. So, you know, and then with the world, well, we'll see what's gonna happen. The Republicans, uh, oh well. Now you get to see the real America. It's pretty disgusting. It's pretty self-destructive. It's self-hate. Um, you know, all because most of our factories and a lot of companies they went overseas. They went overseas because they could hire people for cheaper. You know, and and there's a lot of nice places. This is like the United States is not the all get out. There's a lot of nice places, especially if you have money. You could always live in a nice place. Especially, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about not like the money like football players have, but the money like the owners have. Not the money that the manager or supervisor at McDonald's have, but the money that the owners of the finance the owners of the whole, I guess you'd say the McDonald's brand, basically. The ones that are making the money off of Wall Street. Because, I mean, now McDonald's is global. They have the McDonald's in China, they have McDonald's and that was one with the Reaganomics, I believe it was, when they were talking about, oh, America is now going into the service industry, like fast food, like um, uh, pilots, um, boat captains, chefs, um, nurses, even doctors. You can't really say police or in the service industry because um, they're part of the more destructive that I see, especially around here. Especially like this policeman around here, like this neighborhood before it got annexed off, even though it had dirt roads, it was very nice, and it had its problems because of it coming, the Jim Crow area, and some of the church influence at that time. Um, like a lot of preachers, they're wolves in sheep clothing. It's like, give me tidings, give me tidings. Like I hear them always like it's all about, give me tidings, give me tidings. Oh, I love my wife. Don't look at my wife. So you can't be friends with him and his wife because you know they letting you know straight out that yeah, I'm faithful to my wife and all this, and you're like, why would I? You're wondering how is this, got to do anything with anything except for their personal, wants and needs. The money, being my wife, and I go to Popeye chickens afterwards. Or who cares? Most of them are anyway. So we already have sort of self-destructive society. And well, anyway, going back to the neighborhood. So one of the things that they do, like what the police do, is like they let them buy a home in the area. Like here, for instance, like Parkway used to be really nice, big homes that black people lived in. Probably was sprinkled with some whites back in the day. Who knows? I always hear, oh, there was whites over here, and there always is one or two sprinkled. Um, but anyway, what the policemen did was they made rooming homes out of the houses, and then like they would go in there and they would um, like in this area, for example, a lot of the elderly people they wouldn't put the property in the child's name before they died. Well, if they did that and they sold drugs out of the house, the police would get it. Grandma has to go, to a nursing home while the kid. So they would get that house, and they want to make money off of it. Like this fool over here. Like you pay like whatever was left on the taxes from 20 years ago. So, and the guy that used to live in there, he was living free over here for like 20 years in the house we just tore down. He would go in there and get the pipings out, or that's what he did. That's what that and that's what that crackhead told him I do. So he's real worried. He thinks I'm a crackhead prostitute. So he probably. I've seen a lot of policemen that are on crack, but you know. But don't worry, we got a lot of heroin, white people on heroin, so you got to be nice to them. So anyway, so what they end up doing is they'll tear up houses and they'll make rooming homes in it, or basically the people they do rent it out to are people that the only people they probably really truly know are crackheads, you know, and even and just and prostitution is just not for males. I mean, it's just not for females. They have male prostitutes too, and so or if you got a habit like that, I guess, and um, so the property values goes down in this area, and you've seen it a lot, like in New York, like with the Bronx, and when it starts going down, usually they they try to enforce they burn the place down, try to get money from the insurance somehow. Um, And then also as the neighborhood goes down, like they'll raise prices, like the electric prices, the gas prices, because there'll be some people in the area that didn't pay their electric bill or couldn't pay their electric bill. And who's this? No, not the person. And maybe using a generator. So that's like sort of what they did in uh, uh, in Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you know the factories left, the cocaine entered, and we all know about Oliver North and how the CIA was bringing cocaine up in here. So a lot of U.S. Marshals was delivering it. There's a lot of policemen, especially in Mississippi and Memphis, that got addicted to cocaine. Just right along with the rest of the community that they were in. And you could tell what type of policeman we have. Oh, like something funny, right? Like they try to give like the policemen like a little education. Well, and so like like I think like they were informed about like some people don't mature past 6, usually from physical and sexual abuse or both. You know, so like there's one undercover cop who has a cape on, right? And I'm thinking this guy has never seen someone with Down syndrome. I have cousin Renee who had Down syndrome, and she rests in peace. And she might have been in her 30s, late 20s when she passed away. I think I don't remember how old she is. I can't remember if she was older or younger than me. I believe she was older. So she was in her 30s. She had an aneurysm. She um um it's out in Mississippi where they was at. I remember seeing some other like a girl down the road from her that's Caucasian. They're people like farmers like my mom's people, and their daughter also had the same thing. So so it's the same thing like Down syndrome with the pumpkin face. So anyway, so she was like 6 years old, but what the policemen can't comprehend or too ignorant to really think, and they're just getting a digest thing of like here's a little bit of like information about some of the people in the area. I think the two things that the psychiatrist ruling is not going to tell them why the behavior. They might not mention sexual and physical abuse because of the people like taking everything internal instead of understanding that it's not all about them. Like a 6-year-old thinks the whole world rotates around them. Like you'll get a lot of like, this is my. Like you'll have policemen, you'll hear them say, this is my car, knowing that they're not paying for the tax, not paying for the insurance. They don't have to pay for the gas. Those are things that adults do. Adults have to foot the bill. You have to, you know what I'm saying? You have to pay for the car. So you have a loan you have to pay for. You have to buy insurance. You have insurance. You have maintenance. And that's usually what the adult does. If you get maybe your daughter or your son a car for like graduation of high school, you might have them on your insurance and you might be making the car payment. You know what I'm saying? But, you're doing the adult action. And mostly kids that at that age, they understand they'll get some type of part-time job. They'll be keeping the gas and slowly to probably and maybe making the car payments. So usually parents just don't you know unless you're really young, you know what I'm saying, you give them, oh, here's like if they got a little dirt bike, you know, it's a gift. So usually it's children that get stuff that they don't have the responsibility, financial responsibility. It's adults that have the financial responsibility, not only for themselves but for their child, make sure they got food, clothing, and shelter. Takes money in this capitalist society. So anyway, getting back to that. So that does not. So getting back, my cousin Renee, right? Now she did not behave the same way she did when she was 6 years old. As when she was like in her teens, in her 20s, or in her 30s, because of all those years that she had lived. You know what I'm saying? If you can be mentally 6 years old, emotionally 6 years old, that doesn't mean that you still do as a 6 year old, because you have like say like if you're 12, that means you live 6 years longer. You have learned experience, so you might be able, like, if you could cook, you could bathe yourself, you could cook. There's a lot of 6 years olds that can play they can play a guitar. Maybe not as good as someone that, but like if you keep doing it for 6 years, you know, repetition. So in like when she's in their 20s, they have sex. You know what I'm saying. But they learn as a 6 years old, or you know what I'm saying. A 6 year old can fix them with food. They could make a sandwich. They could make them a bowl of cereal. Um, they could even go to the store and buy them the 6 year old, like you could take a 6 year old today and give them $5 and take them to the store and tell them, here, get some that you want to eat, and they're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? They're able to verbalize. They could even do some math. They could do some reading. So and um, and a lot of and a lot of it is the school too. So you're not going to be doing as you would at 6 years old, even if you're only going to mature to six. You know what I'm saying? Even if you see yourself at six, you're not going to be doing the same stuff that if you only lived in this world for 6 years, opposed if you're here for 36 years. Just from your learned experience. You know, um, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe when you were actually 6 years old, the best sandwich you can make is a peanut butter and jelly, and the best thing you could do for breakfast is um, pour you some milk and cereal, right? But then at 36 years old, you could probably go ahead and throw your clothes in the washer. You might not care to sort them. Just throw your clothes in the washer. You could do your laundry. You could take it out. You know what I'm saying? You could even get some type of a job. Like if you're, 6 years old, not really. You would probably, but you actually could get a job. You could mow grass. You could do housekeeping work. There are things that you can do, opposed to when you're 6 years old. Not only because of your height, because you only been in the world for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen it with my own eyes with people that had Down syndromes. They do not stay the same, and their likes sometimes change too. But anyway, I digress. I was gonna say like they might make a peanut butter sandwich when they're 6 years old, but then when they're 36 years old, they might be able to make you a mean turkey croissant sandwich with the lettuce and tomatoes. Open up a nice bag of chips to go with it. Buy potato salad and open that up. You know what I'm saying? Because you can buy ready-made potato salad. So they're able to do that. And they're probably not able to function enough to manage their money in such a way. But in a lot of days, you really can tell. Um, a lot of people don't know how to manage their money that well. So, um, but in their case, you could try to teach them. They still might not. They still might need help. managing their money a little bit. Um, anyway, we'll see. Let me get off of here. I've been 21, 24, almost 25 minutes, so I'm hoping. I trust Jerry. He's gonna be here. Finish this job up. And I don't trust the Republicans to understand. Just like I don't trust the police to. I just thought that was so hilarious that, and like, and me and some other people, like, we were like, because they just, a little information makes you ignorant. And very fucking dangerous, too. Very dangerous. So, they got 2 weeks of an 8-year course, and they didn't comprehend it at all. He's gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then the next, poor thing. I guess poor thing. You would think that's self-evident. You know what I'm saying? Because you would think that they've been around the world. Or well, they don't have to be around the world, but you'd think that this person that's in like he's in his like 30s, that he would have noticed life, that he would have learned. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is they were really just talking about the whooping, and I don't think they wanted, because they're not going to change their behavior just because of your words. They're going to continue whooping their kids, even though uh, it it caused them pain, it caused them discomfort, and I hear a lot of times them voicing, like especially when you're the same age, when you're elementary school with them and junior high with them, that their parents a lot of times was just wrong. You know what I'm saying? And then can you imagine? And then once that you're now when you leave home for the first time, you could make mistakes without getting whooped. So because you can think how inadequate they are. Oh, that's another car. Let me go. Have a good day. But anyway, I think I'm getting back to what I was trying to allude to. I think that Trump and his people are going to be in a rude awakening when they find out that well, I think that no, this is what I think. I think we're going to be in a rude awakening when we find out that Trump's just going up there to, again, fix the election in favor of his people. Because, trying to get as many Republicans in office. But the Republicans, I done lost a lot of respect for them. Woo! Oh my God! And plus, the lady does the debriefing, that Sanders Huckabee. Like, oh my God, and my client. Oh my God, I've lost a lot of respect for those people. Trump, I never had respect for. So that's his biggest thing that he's fighting against. It doesn't matter.